Yeah, Ravi, it is very thankful to you for inviting me to present the geopark geotourism aspect of Karnataka state. So I would like to share some of my experience and association in these 2 or 3 areas where I will be describing today with respect to Karnataka. See, the National Geological Monuments established and maintained by Geological Survey of India. Four of them are there in the Karnataka state. The earliest one, which was declared, was the one in Kolar Cyst Belt, which is pyroclastics and pillow of Peddapalli and other surrounding areas. And later on, there were a few more in the late 70s, which was inducted. One is the Peninsular Gneissic Complex that is well within Bangalore, Lalbagh, where you can see a board displaying the nature of the rock and its age, other details. And we have the Pillow lavas of Maldahalli in Chitradurga district, and also the uh, columnar basalt of Coconut Island, of Mary Islands, close to Udupi in Udupi district area. So apart from these four declared monuments, there are many features which deserve to be declared as monuments and also a tourist attraction. For example, if you take the Western Ghats or Sahyadri Hill Range, there are a number of uh, waterfalls like Jog Falls and also the other natural landforms which are occurring in those areas. And then you go to the north, you have Badami caves and you have natural bridges, and you have similarly the landforms characteristics associated with the close bed granite which can be seen in the close to Bangalore. So here during this presentation, I will restrict myself to the two national geological monument, one pyroclastic in Kolar System, the other one in Maldahalli Villava in Chitradurga. Apart from that, I will also make a mention about the landscape of close bed granite, which is a tourist attraction as well as a park which can be maintained. So I will also conclude with certain examples with similar nature we find in South Africa, where I happen to be visit those geoparks. Coming to these three locations, what I have mentioned, this stop six NGM, the National Geological Monument, you can see from the tour that this is the polar cyst belt, which extends for about 80 kilometers, and it is about 75 kilometers directly aerial distance, but by road it's about 100 kilometers via Kolar, headquarter of the district. And then you have here Chitradurga in the northwest of the Bangalore, about 200 kilometers away, along the National Highway 4 to Bombay. And here Chitradurga also is a characteristic one, which we have a National Geological Monument of the Pillow Basalt. And then this Ramadevari Betta, which is near Ramanagara, which are on the close pit granite. And the earlier Namadevar Betta or Ramanagara was called as close pit after the name of very close, the administrator of the district. So now I will first take you to the Polar Gold Field, which has produced more than 800 tons of gold during the last 100 years. So the some of the stops what I have shown here, they are all actually planned for the visit of delegates participating in the 36th IGC, but which could not take place. So, for example, here, apart from the one which is having a, because it was meant for the geologist, it gives the complete cross section of the cyst belt from western margins to up one where you have banded iron formation, and then you have the mineralized zone, the Henry soft, and then exposed mineralized zones and the old working and the football of the main champion lode. Then you have certain ancient mining activity which is clearly exposed here. That also we will be having a look at that. Then we have this National Geological Monument at this location known as Vedapalli. So we will have that like that one also. And apart from that, you have a religious place which has been now a tourist attraction. Koti Linkeshwara means 10 million lingas of Lord Shiva, which is characteristic. So this is attraction here. So now this Kolar Goldfield, it more than 100 years old now, almost 130 years now since it's in startup. And then the mine has gone more than 300 meters deep, particularly the Champion Lode, and produced 800 tons of gold. And there are number of geological and mining monuments which are worth preserving and then worth people to visit and learn from the past, particularly for engineering students, mining engineering students. There are many firsts in the area, and as I told you, 75 kilometer, you can see number of firsts in the mining. For example, the electricity first time introduced in Asia, which was brought from Sivanasamudra, yes, specifically for the Kolar gold fields, even before the electricity was supplied to Mysore. And there are number of heritage structures which are present. And what you see here is you can see the winders for the shaft, which is going quite deep, and some of the mine portions cannot be reached directly from one single shaft. You have to sit underground shafts also. So it's a quite a big machineries which were all imported from UK and other places, and many other things which were established for the first time here. And the BGML are presently the engineers from BGML have been guiding many other mining industries like copper and other things in India. And then you can see here there are many monuments which I told. One of them is the KGF Club, which was again more than 100 years old, which is now also is being used by the members of the mining fraternity. And there are many other such structures are there. This is one of the deepest shaft or in the equate shaft, and you have number of tailing dams which are dotted all along the 8 kilometer long the Kolar cyst belt, and then you have an underground working. So these are some of the things which can be seen. But then I will say these are all some of the heritage structures which are of characteristic of British architectures which can be seen here, which was presented by some of the engineering students during our workshop in 2019. And then the other sites of interest, I told the ancient workings on the eastern side. You can see these are all mortars which are used by the ancients for grinding the ore and extracting the gold. It's about half a meter wide, and you can see here the vessel which they have used, which is about again a big boulder which they can see the surface which has been smoothed by grinding the ores. And then you have many the ancient workings. So this is not an ancient working. This is working for a graphite which was done in the late 20s, 30s by Department of Mines and Geology. But you can see there are the BF band which I told on the western margin of the cyst belt. They also have sulfidic nature, and then you can have some gold incidences are there, and along with sulfides, and you have some of the old workings along those hills, and these places can be visited from the KGF easily. And this is the one of the outcrop of the National Geological Monument, where you have the pyroclastics with clasts of granite, gneisses, BIF, basalt, and various rocks in a matrix of quartz feldspathic nature of a ry- rhyolitic or rhyodacite or intermediate basalt matrix. And apart from pyroclastics, you have some pillow structures in some locations, but not as typical as what we see in Bardeli area where national monument has been declared. And as I told, ancient workings are there. And you have people who are interested in nature. They can have a nature trials trekking. So this is one hill which is on the southern part of the KGF itself, which is called Erakonda, Erakonda, because of the red soil what you find over the BIF, and there is a temple. Now they have laid a road itself to the temple, which can be directly given to the top, but people can access by trekking also. So these are some of the attractions which I am giving in a brief. So you can spend here the a day. You can start from Bangalore in early morning 7:30, and then go to uh, KGF having en route breakfast. There are a number of restaurants in the highway, and then in Bangarapet, which is before the KGF, you can have breakfast and spend whole day and then return back. That is one option to see the outcrops. But then, if people want to stay for a overnight and then enjoy the trail, nature trail, and other things, there are number of resorts which has come up of recently. Even there is one Zion Golf uh, Hills is there, which is just before Bangarpet, and then there are a number of resorts close to uh, Bemal layout, which is just part of the KGF, where you have facilities for overnight stay with food arrangements, so people can stay and relax weekends and then see the things. But the main issue, as I told, the main attraction about the KGF mine sites, because still the VGML is unable to open up a certain area as educational or reservation for the tourists. Unless that is made available, then we will not be able to spend much time on the mines. Maybe even if you go, you have to take a special permission, and then they may allow you to go inside the mine. There are, for example, the Henry Shaft, one of the deepest mine in a Nandidurg mine. Uh, we could visit with the permission, but then you were not allowed to go inside the buildings. We were just go around and see the some of the majestic things, which though not in a dialectical condition, but you can see particularly the cooling system for a deep mine is one of the important things. So the air, cool air, which is circulated to the underground through uh, machines which are similar to our aircraft engines, which pumps the air with high pressure, and then so it's are all very good, interesting thing for anybody to see. So that way, there is a scope for improving the tourism. Already, tourism is there. It is only thing is how we are able to convert. We have been having a lot of effort to uh, with the BGML to create at least one of the shafts as a tourist place where people can be taken down to one or two levels and then show how the load exists and show some of the machineries which are all peculiar to BGML, but that has not taken yet because they have various other problems. Now, this is the cultural feature which you can think about, where you have this Kotilinkeshwara temple. This is one of the tallest linga in the world. They claim that it is 33 meters high, about 108 feet, and the Nandi, which is there, it is about 11 meters high. So, and they claim this particular establishment started in 1980 by one Swamiji Samba Siva Murthy, who started it, and now they claim that they have already achieved about 90 lakhs of, and that's short of about 10 lakhs to reach the crore, 1 crore. So this is a major tourist attraction, and the government of Karnataka has declared this place as a tourist interest. So that way, already tourism has started there. Then you have this Bangala Tirupati, and so there are uh, features which are of interest. Only thing is how we are able to focus the things for a different audience. For a geologist is fine, we can take them and then show a geological cross section of the cyst belt and various features. But then for a general public, children, adults, and other people, we have to have certain things which will be of interest to them also. Now, coming to the Chitradurga, which is about 200 kilometers, it may not be possible to travel from Bangalore and return back to. So we may have to stay here in Chitradurga. You have a number of good hotels are available, and this place, Chitradurga, we have a training center here. So that is one of the advantage where we can make use of it, particularly if geology community wants to take advantage of that. Now already the training institute is providing this type of educative tools to the students from various universities. They come every summer vacation or other periods, and then training institute extend the facilities with the faculty from training centers to Tulga, and they take around and show various features of these. Here, the geological feature which I said, that you have a old copper mine which has been closed because of the price which was not meeting the expenditure, so they have stopped it, which can be reopened if people are interested. And then you have this National Geological Monument, which is just by side of the national highway. When you go from Bangalore, just before that, you have it is about 20-25 kilometers from Chitradurga. And then there are the greenstone belt has various structures related to the volcanic and sediments and other things we can identify. One such additional feature, which is not a national monument, has been identified here, pyroclastics. So some of the things I will just show you here. See, it represents the granite greenstone belt, one of the best preserved in India, covers thousands of square kilometer, and has a geopark concept and other historical and cultural sites present. Reasonably good climate throughout the year and good connectivity. You have good hotels there, and you have a network of transports are available. And this is a geological map around the Chitradurga antiform which is there, and then you have here full succession developed of the Dharwad supergroup. Though the Baba Budan is a little less preserved here, but then Chitradurga group is very well developed. So this center can be a nodal center that is training institute, Madheli Pilolava, and then you have a number of these already mentioned sedimentary rock structures and other things. And you can also have some hill trials which can be defined, and hiking can be carried out. So here is the Pilolava, which is very typical of the submarine volcanoes, where you have a chill rind, very fine grained, glassy mat, rind of things covering. And then you have the radial cracks on the bulbous structure which you are seeing here. And then also the escaping gas get trapped near the margin of the pillow. So these are the typical characteristics of the pillows which you see in submarine condition when the lava gets there placed. So this is has been declared as a geological monument. And then you have here is the one pyroclastic which is a part of the KM Craig conglomerate, a base of the Hiriyur formation which they consider. So here what you see is an agglomerate. Mostly it's all acidic volcanics. You can see the nature of the class what you are seeing. They are like bombs of volcanic eruption pyroclast, very big ones, and you see the surrounding margin which is all a little bit differently colored due to weathering, but then you can see in the texturally also there will be a slight difference will be there, the margin and the central portion. And another thing which you can see here, you can see the class what you find in these rocks. They are not normal water-worn class which you find either straight, angular, or fragment rounded depending on the distance of transport. But you don't find these type of angular features, tails and other things you don't find. So these are all part of the pyroclastic material. This pyroclastic, when you call pyroclastic, they are all indicative of subaerial explosive event which taken place and deposited aerially. But then here you had a marine environment also, so you have volcanoclastic material which are deposited, pyroclast deposited along with other sediments. So you can see a type section of KM Craig conglomerate is exposed in this, particularly due to the recent windmill roads development. You have a very good sections which can be shown to the people who are interested in the geological section. Granite, and you can see the large boulders of the granite, and then even those small gaps whatever is there between the two boulders, they have been utilized like caves, and then they have people have been staying there. And what you see here, this mandapa, from here there is a underground cave type of temple is there, where Ankali Mat Swamijis, they used to come for meditation and they were staying. And the archaeological excavation. So this Chandravalli Caves is one of the archaeological sites about 3 kilometers southwest of Chitradurga town, and the archaeological excavations have shown the remnants of some of the uh, megalithic as well as Havana period potteries and other evidences indicating that it's an very old area where human habitation has existed. And this is one place where these small gaps between the large boulders have been utilized as a residential place by ancient people, particularly the Ankalimat Swamijis, that they Sambasiva, no, Samkal, they call Mat Swamijis, they used to come here for meditation purpose. And this Mantapa, what is there here on the left side, from there, there is a cave temple type of thing where they have gone underground for about 80 feet down, and you have the resting place of the Swamijis, and then they were residing there. Whether they are regularly staying or not, we are not sure. But then, the inscriptions recovered, they say that this place have been used by over the long period of the history, and this is maintained by archaeological department, and lot of tourists come here, and the tourist guides also there. Uh, and then another interesting feature of the Chittorgarh city is the Chittorgarh Fort, over 2.6 million old granites of Chittorgarh granites. And here, this fort was constructed from 11th to 13th century initially by the Hoysala kings, and then it was later modified by the Krishnadevaraya period during the 15th century by their Nayaks. And then it was under the control, and the structure of the fort has been modified even during the 18th century. And it has seven concentric walls protecting this site, and you have can see the staircase climbing and the gates. These gates are all not in a straight line, they are all a zigzag pattern, so that the enemies cannot attack directly the doors and gates and crash it. So this has a number of temples upstairs, and then this was very well protected. Only by in Devara, Hyder Ali has captured it after a number of attempts by some insiders' help, and then he captured this one, and it was under the control till the British took over in 1779 after the defeat of the Sultan. So this is one of the adventurous one. You also, and then here you have interesting, apart from temples, and you have the rainwater harvesting structures, which are still you can see them, number of tanks which are preserved there. And this Chitradurga is also called Chitradurg in earlier days, and the guides try to say that you can see the stones which are having certain animals characteristics like frog or, yeah, elephant or something like that. They will try to depict that stones, so it is based on that their name would have come. That's what they interpret it. So this is another interesting area where the guides are available, and then there is a museum down below in the city which can be seen the recent Nayaks dynasty, how they have evolved, and over the kingdom control. So those things can be seen, and that is the interesting feature of the Chittorgarh area. And you can have a Chittorgarh training center as one of the nodal center, as I already mentioned, and can be organized to conduct some program if people are interested. But then what our experience is that you don't find much interest among the school children, and then they come to these faraway Pillola war and other things which may not be of interest. They may come to the training center, and then they can see there is a rock garden is there which can be seen, and the children spend some time and then go away. That is what presently happening. Now coming to this close pit granite, what I told, this Ramanagara is there, Bangalore here. The close pit granite, which is one of the long, narrow one, which you can see in the geological map. You can see that this one, which is going northward. This is the earlier mapped as close pit granite, which was considered as boundary between Western Dharwad Craton and Eastern Dharwad Craton. though later on the people have shifted the boundary between western and eastern to the eastern margin of the Chitradurga cyst belt. But initially it was considered that it is the dividing line. So these granites have been extensively studied, and the most characteristics, it forms linear high ridges, not ridges, hills. Number of them you can see, Monadnocks and mounts, rounded hills. So they all forms a good attraction, geomorphic attraction. And then you have wildlife. For example, starting from here, Ramadevari Betta, which is one of the hills, which I am going to take you there. And then you have Saravan Durga. Here there is a big hill is there, surrounded by a temple and adventure hill climbing possible here. And like that, you can go further northward. You have the Siddhartha Pettas and then Devarayan Durga. So Sivaganga, many places you find the attractive these close bed granite outcrops as a small hills. And here in this one, when you go from the Bangalore, you can see a north-south linear one. This is a high strain zone, which is also of interest. So here there has been a quartzite mapped, quite a long one. And then actually that quartzite is not really a sedimentary quartzite. It is actually a quartz vein malentized along the high strain zone. And this high strain zone marks a boundary of the earlier, the close bed granite, what you are seeing here. This contact. So the close bed granite is extends from here to this portion all along the close bed granite. So here you can see some of the landform caves here, the hills around that one, they have peculiar shapes and they name it based on the hills, different names like elephant, and then you have Saptarisis and dome like that. And here, what is the thing? You have the geologically from the Ramdevari Betta, you can go up and see the nature of the rock types, the relationship between the granite and the surrounding gneisses. The magma mingling, mixing characteristics can be clearly seen, and you have a different varieties of granite, pink porphyritic granite and gray granites. All those things can be the magmatic process, magma mixing, mangling, mantle crystal magma. These things can be clearly studied and demonstrated for the people who are interested. And more than that, here this Ramdevari Betta has been declared as a vulture sanctuary covering about 3.5 square kilometer area for preserving the long-billed vulture, which is an endangered species in inland peninsular India. So this particular area has been completely fenced under the protected forest and is maintained by forest department. Apart from these vultures, you have bears, elephants, and leopards and panthers. So this sanctuary is open from morning 9 to evening 5 o'clock. So people can climb up and then see the different rock types and wait morning or evening. You can see the birds coming and spend some time and come back. Maybe along with this one, we can club with the Peninsular Nice outcrop in Lalbagh also as one of the trip, or we can have a separate close bed granite tour starting from Ramnagaram, going up further to Shravan, Durga, and other places. So it can be claimed. It can be a one-day trip from Bangalore and back. So this is one interest of this one, and this is the temple. And then you have there are some camps are there for rock climbing exercise. So people are conducting some programs for that purpose. So it may be clubbed with them, but we have tried to organize as a regular program as a part of the Earth Day to take the school children to this hill. At least 2 years, we are be able to manage to take the children and make them interested in the rocks exposed there, and then your nature trial, fauna and flora. These things we are able to explain with the help of the forest department. But then April 22nd being a summer holidays, we are not able to organize it regularly. So if we have to establish this tourism circle, so we need help of both forest department, nature lovers, and geological community. Society had organized a workshop also apart from the field trips on the geopark and geotourism in 2013, and follow up of that we have given representation to the government to declare this as a geopark area. But somehow the government is not, unless a lot of pressure comes from the community, I think they may not uh, easily accept the concept. So that is the things. Even for the KGF, we try to uh, rope in the tourism department people during our seminar in KGF, but then their interest was least in that aspect. So that is the situation. Now, I would try to treat some of the features with respect to South Africa, where I happen to be there. Where you stay in a hotel, you find a lot of booklets about the geotourism. So here is a small map which they have shown in the booklet, where the various the geotourism spots have been indicated. Out of these, at least that these two spots, Pelanisberg Complex and National Park, and Witwatersrand Basin Gold. So this national park, even though it is not comes under the global geopark category, but then they are maintained there. So these two, I will just relate to the ones what I have explained to you. For example, the Plenisberg alkaline ring complex represents a circular alkaline rock complex about 25 square kilometer diameter, about 572 square kilometer area, and then it is characterized by the ancient volcanic crater of 1500 million years old, and then it has a concentric rings of hills and rare rock types of alkaline rocks. So here you have you can see the geological map and the different rock types. See ancient lavas, volcanic breccia, tuff, and then the plutonic rocks. It contains cyanite, foiates, kimberlite, tingoites, and concentric coneseeds. These are all seen. So here, if you look at that, apart from the geological interest, you have the 132 species of trees, 68 species of grass, and then wide variety of animal species. Apart from the five big species of South Africa, 50 other mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, thousands of small animals are present. This is a map showing the road network, and they have number of lodges and then facilities inside for the people to visit, and then see the different places. So this arrangement made by local community as well as by government. And then other than that, you can see the other attraction is there. Close to this one is the Sun City. Many of you might have heard about the Sun City. So it is a great attraction where people go there and stay, and you can see the outline of the Sun City, which is very close by, and people go there and then visit the park also. And here you have the entertainment casino complex, world class golf course, hotel, restaurant, business center, health club, spa, valley, waves, many more attractions for both young as well as the old. So this I am trying to say similar thing. If it is can be attractions can be for different age groups, then you will be seeing more and more people visiting areas like what we have seen in Ramdevari Betta. So some attractions have to be there. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Either a geologist are visiting, a botanist visiting, or a zoologist visiting. That only will be happening, not as a common tourist space. Now coming to the other one, so Witwatersrand, Johannesburg is after the reach of white waters. Nearly half of the world's gold is mined from here. So greatest gold field of all time, 48,000 of ton gold has been extracted from the quartz pebble conglomerate of Archean age. Seven major gold fields in crescent shaped, like 300 long, 50-kilometer long basin. And here are some of the heritage site preserved. This is the George Harrison Park, the original discovery site of this conglomerate, which is gold bearing. It was discovered in 1886, almost same time like our Kolar goldfield. Attributed to George Harrison, conglomerate with small pebbles set in a sandy matrix. Red color is due to iron oxide altered from the pyrite. So this small size pebble is characteristic of these particular reef horizons. Whereas there is an upper horizon where the conglomerate are all very coarse pebbles. That is not the Gariferous. Now, these horizon parks are maintained very well, and you can see they are all fenced, and there is no security. It is kept open, so people can go inside and then see, but it is well maintained. The conglomerate reef is dipping at 30 to 40 degree, and the incline you can see here opening for that one. But now they have closed some of the things because there were some deaths were reported from that place. So this is one of the stamp mill, battery mill crushing the ore. So here, yeah, board is displaying the characteristics details about these Harrison's discovery and the gold mine and other things. So like what we have put, but this is well preserved than what our boards what we are putting in our geological monuments. Here, an interesting thing is a crown mine, which has produced about 1,412 tons of gold, has a mine which is 60 years, mine in the basin for 60 years and 300 meters deep, and along because it's an inclined one, the length of the incline has gone up to 6.2 kilometers. The underground workings amounts to 1,715 kilometers. Now here they have created a gold reef city. The entrance of that is marked by exhibit of one of the stamp battery mills in the entrance. Here they take you underground tour. Mining has ceased 1977. The guided tour up to the level, fifth level, 220-meter below the ground, to show how mine worked. And even they demonstrate how the drilling is done or the ore is extracted. And then you have models which shows the the mine. The model is this one is opened in 1980, Crown Mine Museum, a venture by Chamber of Mines to bring back the history and romance of the mining days. And the models of mine descending shaft, this is the shaft which is defending, the rescue brigade man, and the mules shifting the transporting the ore. Then you have the demonstration of the gold smelting, pouring of gold mold, and the final product is shown. And also you have the exhibit on the shaft and hauling of the ore in ancient way, the refill and extraction of gold. Then they also demonstrate the panning of the streams, how it is done. So it creates some interest for the onlookers and the people who come. And the ore samples are displayed in the museum. The oxidized ore, the fresher ore polished, and streaks of the pyrite, which you can see here along that conglomerate. So finally, you could look at this. This is the layout map which is shown. Apart from what I have shown, there are other interests which are created which can be of interest for those who are not very keen on seeing the mine part of things. You see here, there are number of rides are there, street dance, theaters, hotels, and kids corner. All these things uh, attracts people to come there and see both the geological feature, the mining features, the ore, how the people have extracted. All those things are seen. So unless we also establish similar things in KGF, where people of young and old they can also get some interesting things to see. And here also the KGF has a long history and a culture which can be characterized easily. And then you can develop a museum and then create one shaft at least to use the mine. So that is a thing I would like to say. Thank you very much.